Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo Switch will obviously be Nintendo's main focus of E3 2018. After all, next to Mario and Zelda, it is one of their biggest franchises. However, there is another game that had Nintendo fans going absolutely bonkers upon its initial announcement, and that was Metroid Prime 4. All it took was some blue space nebula and a PNG of the title to throw people into an emotional wreck of blood, sweat, and tears of joy. That's how big of a deal this game is to a lot of people. Even though Metroid doesn't have as big of a fan base as Super Smash Bros., Nintendo knows how much this franchise means to those fans. So the question remains, how will we see Metroid at this year's E3? Let's find out. Yeah, we know the game was technically revealed at last year's E3, but let's be honest, it was a pretty underwhelming one. Given the fact that it was Metroid Prime 4, however, it totally made it worthwhile. But say the next Mario game was announced with just a title drop. I mean, we get those games often, so why not show us gameplay? The reason why we were satisfied with just a mere title drop was because we haven't seen a new Metroid game in 7 years at that point, and a new Prime game in 10. Would we have preferred a CGI trailer to go along with the announcement, like with Beyond Good and Evil 2? Sure, but you know what? We'll take what we can get when it comes to Metroid. That said, with E3 2018 just around the corner, a lot of us will have Metroid on the brain. Or rather, the mother brain. Even though it's going to be really exciting to see what Super Smash Bros. Switch will offer, we'll be unable to forget just how impactful the reveal of Metroid Prime 4 was last year. We'll be expecting more, and Nintendo knows it. There has been some debate on the interwebs of whether or not we'll even see Metroid Prime 4 in any capacity at the show. After all, Nintendo has been known to show games one year, ignore it the next year, and bring it back the year after. Okay, maybe one other time, with Breath of the Wild, or as it used to be called, Zelda Wii U. This game was revealed in E3 2014 with a release date of 2015. I still laugh every time I see that number. The following year, the game was delayed, and along with this delay was the soul-crushing announcement that it wouldn't appear at E3 2015. But hey, at least we got Federation Force and Amiibo Festival, am I right? Another reason why some might think Metroid Prime 4 won't appear this year is that it's simply too early for the development team to show anything. Reggie Fils-Aimé himself has admitted that they did show the game off early because they knew just how eager Metroid fans were to hear news about their beloved franchise. And thankfully, we also had another Metroid game announced that year with Metroid Samus Returns on the 3DS. Metroid Prime 4 was definitely announced early, there's no denying that. But how early is too soon to tell. I mean, nobody knew about Metroid Samus Returns, and that game was announced 3 months before it was released. For now, we're going to be optimistic and believe Nintendo will mention Metroid Prime 4 in some capacity. If they weren't going to do so, they would have told us by now like they did with Zelda Wii U in 2015. Plus, they would be shooting themselves in the foot if they completely ignored a game that got a ton of buzz last year without any gameplay whatsoever. You may also try and counter that point with Nintendo's synopsis of their E3 video presentation, which says, get a look at Nintendo Switch games for 2018, including Super Smash Bros. Well, you may have had a good argument there, except that they said the exact same thing about their video presentation last year, which said that they would focus on 2017 Nintendo Switch games. In that same video, they announced Kirby Star Allies, Yoshi, and Metroid Prime 4, all of them scheduled for 2018 or later. Wait, Commonwealth Realm, you might be asking, Does that mean you don't think Metroid Prime 4 is coming out this year? That's right, we believe this is obvious, as indicated by the TBA release date shared at Nintendo's investor meetings. That, and you don't even want to go near the launch of Super Smash Bros. Switch and Pokemon Switch. Metroid is not a great selling franchise, so you don't want to hurt it even further by releasing in that time frame. We can probably expect Metroid Prime 4 to come out in 2019. The hopeful side of us wants it to be the first half of that year, but the realistic side safely assumes the latter half. Now that we believe Metroid Prime 4 will be at E3 2018, the question is, how will it be shown? This is what we're curious about as well. We would absolutely love to get our first glimpse at some gameplay, but we would also be satisfied with a well-made CGI trailer that shows either the concept of the gameplay or gives us a synopsis of the story. Regardless, we don't think Metroid Prime 4 will be playable on the show floor, simply because it will be too early to show the game off in a playable state. They could also make Metroid Prime 4 their main focus at next year's E3 as well. If they want to push the sales of this franchise, there's no better way to do it. Regardless of whether or not the trailer this year shows gameplay or just pre-rendered CGI, we know how we want the trailer to end, with a release year of 2019 and the words, "Relive the Trilogy in HD on the Nintendo Switch." This would be huge. To play the Metroid Prime trilogy in remastered HD on the Nintendo Switch would be the stuff of our dreams, especially if it comes out this year. It would be the perfect time killer while we wait for Metroid Prime 4. Truth be told, I wouldn't care if they didn't show a lick of Metroid Prime 4, just as long as they announced the Metroid Prime Trilogy HD. But I don't encourage it. Please show us Metroid Prime 4, Nintendo. Not to mention, so many people didn't play these games while they were on the GameCube and Wii, and a lot of them own a Nintendo Switch, so it's a no-brainer. Task of creating an HD version of the 3 Metroid Prime games would not be as simple as making them look prettier. Metroid Prime 3 in particular was made for the Wii, meaning that the gameplay was designed around motion controls. You could simply play this game with the Switch Joy-Cons and their motion controls, but that wouldn't be ideal if you're trying to play the game on the bus. Porting this game over to the Switch would require some redesign. Thankfully, this game is not like Skyward Sword, so it wouldn't be as difficult redesigning the game to fit modern control setups. You could just take out the motion control puzzles entirely since they don't take up a huge chunk of the game, or you could just make them an easy button press. Who would be responsible for this remaster though? Nintendo themselves, like they did with Wind Waker HD? Or how about Tantalus, the developers responsible for Twilight Princess HD? We see them as the most likely option, but we would love it if Retro Studios themselves would go back and work on these Switch ports. Even though some members of the Metroid Prime trilogy development are no longer at the studio, we have faith that those currently working there still have a grasp on what made the Prime trilogy special. Our less likely candidate would be Blue Point Games, who made that amazing Shadow of the Colossus remake, but they seem to be owned by Sony at this point. In the end, no matter what we see of Metroid Prime 4 this year at E3, we have, I repeat, have to get a Metroid Prime Trilogy HD on the Nintendo Switch this year. The timing is too perfect. The stars have aligned. It's time to give Metroid Prime the HD treatment it deserves. But we want to hear from you. How do you think Metroid Prime 4 is going to appear at E3? Will we see the announcement of the Prime Trilogy in HD? Sound off in the comments section below, or tweet it to us at Common Realm.
And if you're still hungry for more Metroid Prime 4 and E3 videos, then you are in luck. As this upcoming Tuesday and Thursday we will upload our lengthy 2-part Nintendo Switch E3 2018 prediction with Roger Space and Stealth. So don't miss out, since these prediction videos will be highly edited with fitting music, just like this one.
If you liked this video, be sure to smash that like button as it really helps us out. We also want to hit 150,000 subscribers by the time E3 begins. So if you are new, subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when we upload another Nintendo-related video. We'd also like to thank our patrons, including royal producer Kenyatta Ali, for their contributions to the realm. If you want to support us financially in exchange for some awesome perks, visit patreon.com/commonrealm. In the meantime, girls and guys, this has been the Commonwealth Realm, and we will see you in the next one.